welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick. Welcome back. It's that time of week again where we board the stream boat.
It is that time of week again.
Is that weird?
Yeah, it's the week.
Time of the week?
Yeah, you said time of week again.
Did I?
Yeah.
Ah, that's weird.
It is weird.
Didn't mean to.
Well, you did.
Huh. Yeah, it's recorded and everything.
Yeah, people can listen to that back. If you've not done that now, I'm going to look like a right dick.
Where we delve the bottom of the Netflix or Amazon Prime stream trying to find a hidden gem of a movie.
We do. We want to watch these movies to see if you don't have to or if you should.
Yes, exactly.
This week we delved to the bottom of Amazon Prime.
We did.
Well, we didn't.
No.
Our Patreon Alex did. Current wildcard champion. This is the first wildcard of season 11.
Yes, if you are a Patreon subscriber, then you do get a wildcard pick each and every season. You can pick a movie for us to watch. So we weren't random this week.
We weren't random this week. Alex has chosen this movie, and it is a movie called Frozen.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of singing snowmen and
Sure.
princesses.
Who isn't?
It isn't that movie.
It is not.
It is.
But it got there first.
It did get there first. It was called Frozen before Frozen was called Frozen.
Yeah.
Because this one came out in 2010. It is a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 33 minutes and is currently rated at 6.2 on IMDb.
It's quite high.
It's a big number for us.
Possibly surprisingly high. But it is. Yeah, it's
It's
high.
a big number for it's high, the higher end of what we get to.
I feel that this would be a movie, though, that if you know it and have seen it,
Yeah.
I feel like if you like it, this is a movie you tell people about.
Yes.
I can see this having a bit of a cultish following.
Yeah, I think it feels like a studenty type of movie. You get in after your night out and you just put a movie on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's as top of the streamers we've been this season as well, I think.
I mean, I can see why you're saying that, because my sort of reaction is I'm surprised that I'm not aware of this movie existing.
Yeah.
Because it's got a couple of
Semi-famous people in.
famous people, and it's a pretty high concept movie.
Yeah, it's quite highly rated.
But if you look at the money it made,
Yeah, it hasn't done well for itself.
Upon its release, then no, it is absolutely bottom of the stream.
Yeah, 100%.
And I hadn't heard of this movie.
I hadn't either. This movie stars a guy called Sean Ashmore. You will know him. He plays a character called Joe Lynch in this movie, but in other movies he's done, he was in some of the X-Men movies,
Yeah.
where he plays Iceman, which is quite ironic considering this movie that he's in.
Yeah, it's very true.
He was also famously in a TV show called The Following with Kevin Bacon. With Kevin Bacon. I was going to say Kevin Spacey. But that's
I
not
thought
his
you said Kevin No Name.
Kevin
I was
No
like, who is that?
That's Kevin Spacey. No, Kevin Bacon is in The Following with Sean Ashmore. This movie also stars a lady called Emma Bell. She plays Parker O'Neill. She's done lots of TV shows.
Yeah.
But just like 1 or 2 episodes of
She's
each.
in The Walking Dead.
She's in The Walking Dead for a bit. But yeah, that's where you might know her from. Also, this movie stars a guy called Kevin Zegers. He plays Dan Walker. You might know him. He seemed to like he was famous a long time ago, but I don't really know why.
I was like,
The name's really familiar.
I kind
to
of
me.
recognised him, but he's quite also a bit generic.
Yeah. Recently, he's been in the TV show of The Rookie.
Okay.
There's a couple of seasons of that. He's in Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, right.
Which is the
okay.
first Walking Dead spin-off. But I think most famously, he was in Gossip Girl for a little while. So I
That's
think
probably where I recognise him from, because
Yeah.
my wife has watched that, and
Yeah.
I might have absorbed him
he was in that for a little while.
just in my peripherals.
Written and directed by a guy called Adam Green. Adam Green is a famous horror movie director. Have you heard of the Hatchet trilogy?
No.
He directed some of those, wrote them. They're like cult horror movies. He did those. He has made 3 films since this that are all horror movies. And probably not most famous, but the biggest thing he's done is he was the writer on the Friday the 13th video game.
Okay.
So it came out a few years ago. It's probably 6 years ago now.
Okay.
Interestingly, one of the guys who's played Jason in the past is in this movie.
Yes.
Right at the very end.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So yeah, that's what I know about this movie. Do you have a one-word review of it, Nick?
Lifted.
From The Lighthouse?
Yeah.
Great film. Great song. Where does this movie start?
Yeah, the Lighthouse Family.
I do know of The Lighthouse Family.
I can always remember. Whenever I think of the Lighthouse Family, who are I would say about a 3 or 4 hit wonder.
Yeah, mid-90s.
Duo
Mid to late 90s,
in the UK.
probably. Yeah.
I always think of my father-in-law because back when you had to have CDs in the car to listen to music, he had a rotation of approximately 4 CDs, and one of them was the greatest hits of the Lighthouse Family,
Really?
and it got a heavy rotation. and that's like a whole CD with like 15 songs on.
Wow. Okay, I don't think I can name more than one.
We have gone off already.
My dad was a big Lighthouse Family fan as well.
Would you rather... Well, now you're going to have to have listened to The Wave, Bottom of the Stream with Adam and Nick.
Yeah.
To
I've
understand
been
this
called the
reference.
Wave for 6 weeks now.
Yeah. Would you rather go to an Oasis gig or a Lighthouse Family gig?
Can I ask some questions?
Yes.
Am I my age now?
Yes.
Are both bands in their prime?
No. They're both reunited.
So they're both now.
Yes, big news. I'm surprised you're not heard about the Lighthouse Family reunion.
Lighthouse Family. I feel like the clientele at a Lighthouse Family gig would be more my kind of people than the clientele at an Oasis gig.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
Deal.
Fine.
Where does this movie start, Nick?
Oh, yeah, the movie. Right. So, wheels.
Wheels.
So we see a mechanism.
We do.
It's the innards and indeed the outards. That's not a word. Of a ski lift.
It isn't it weird? And yet innards is.
Yeah, I know.
That's strange, isn't
Yeah.
it? Why is outards not a word?
I don't know. We'll bring it in. It is now.
Yeah. Agreed. Yes, we do. We basically see a montage of a ski lift working and then a montage of a mountain, and then we cut straight to a title card before anything's even happened.
Generic rock music.
Yes, absolutely generic rock music. And then we meet our crew, our cast.
Yeah.
Not the crew. You'd never see the crew in a film. 2 guys and a girl. This is Joe, Dan, and Parker.
Yes.
Parker and Dan are in a relationship.
They
and
are.
Joe and Dan are best friends.
Parker and Dan have been together for a year or so.
Yes, ish.
And Dan and Joe have been best friends for life.
Since they started school together. That story's explained later on, but it's since they started school together. They are waiting at the bottom of a ski lift. And what they're waiting for, we find out, is a shift change of the ski lift operator.
Yeah.
Because they're waiting for the hot girl to start, because Joe can go and flirt with her, and she will then let them on the ski lift for free.
So they want free passes
Yeah, to get up the
to
mountain,
get up
to
and
ski
down the
down.
mountain.
Yeah.
Because it's really expensive?
Apparently
Yes.
so. It must be, because we'll find out why in a minute, but it must be expensive. I don't know. I've never been. Have you ever been skiing?
Not in snow.
Okay. What have you been skiing in?
Dry ski slope.
Oh, okay. I don't know why that didn't cross my mind. It's like, not in snow. What, sand? Anyway, the shift change happens, but it is not the hot girl that they wanted. So Joe and Dan convince Parker to go and flirt with the guy
Yeah.
who has taken over the shift
Sure.
to see if she can get them free tickets. And Dan loosens her top a little bit, gives her some money to bribe him with,
Yeah.
and he gives her $100. So the ski lift tickets must be more than that.
Yeah.
Must be. She goes off and does it.
She gives this story, doesn't she? Like, oh, I'm only in town for not very long. There's me and my my hot girlfriends,
Yeah.
and
We
we
need some
have
passes.
got money.
Yeah.
But there's something about
She
they've
left her
lost their
credit card at
or
home or
something,
something.
and
She's just flirting with this
Yeah.
guy. While she's gone, Joe is talking to Dan about why he's brought his girlfriend on this lad's trip.
yeah,
with him.
he's like, oh, come on, is this a bit of a buzzkill?
Yeah, she's
And-
like, this is our thing. We go skiing. She doesn't. She
And
doesn't
Dan's
even know
like-
how to ski.
Dan's like, no, she's got to look better.
Yeah.
You know, last time she came with us, she wasn't. You know, she'd literally just started, but no, she's
Yeah.
better. She's on a snowboard,
Yes.
and
Her and Dan are
Give
both
it
on
a
snowboards
chance.
and
Yeah.
Joe's on skis. Yeah, so he basically says give her a chance. Parker then succeeds in her mission. She's got the passes.
$100.
$100
For the
she,
three of
she
them.
uses to bribe the three of the guy. And the guy's a bit annoyed when 2 guys turn up and not the 3 hot girls he was promised. But
I thought she was like, they were in negotiations for like one trip up there.
yeah,
But basically,
like a day pass.
it's multiple
yeah.
skis.
What I found interesting was that the guy was not checking anybody else's passes as they got on. There was just a queue and people were getting on the ski lift. I don't really know how they work, but that's what was happening.
No, because they've already presumably passed a checkpoint
Yeah.
to prove that
You
they
would think- yeah.
can be on the mountain and up the.
Because you can't, if you're on the mountain, you can't ski if you're not on the ski lift. Sure,
Yeah,
there's
and
no other way up there.
the guy operating a ski lift isn't like you say. He's not taking card payments or tickets from
No.
anyone. So yes,
It confused me a little
Yeah.
bit. I didn't quite know the logistics of how it worked.
I had a similar thought and then
Logistics
quickly
is
moved on.
not this film's strong point. So they get on the lift. They're sitting on this ski lift as it's going up the side of this mountain. It's quite high. They're a long way up. They're chatting away. Joe is still feeling like he's the third wheel of this day. He's making that very clear to both of them. And they have this conversation about pet names and how Dan and Parker don't have pet names for each other.
Yeah, and she's always been a bit like, "Oh, come
She
on,
finds it a bit
you
strange.
should have a pet name for me."
Yeah, they're
other
just-
girls get called Sweetie or
It's just teenage chatting. I mean,
they're old.
I
They're
say
not teenagers,
teenage.
are they?
I
Are they
think they're,
supposed to
I
be?
think
do you
they're
think?
playing teenagers.
They say, don't they, later on, that they might be missed at classes.
Yeah.
So university. Yeah, they're either early 20s or teenagers.
They're playing late teens, I think.
Yeah.
But they're clearly not.
No.
No. Suddenly the lift stops.
Yeah.
Just stops. They panic a little bit, but they're like, this is normal. Somebody's obviously fallen over at the top or the bottom, and we've had to stop the lift. It doesn't stop for long, and it gets going again pretty quickly.
I imagine this is my concept of these rickety old ski lifts.
Yeah,
This
must happen
happens
a
all
lot.
the time.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't quite get off quickly enough.
Yeah, or
and
falls
they
over,
have to stop
or
it.
something happens. They get to the top. Dan makes Parker wear a helmet, which she doesn't want to wear because she's new, and new people should wear helmets. It's dangerous.
He's like, I'm not moving on it.
You're going to wear
You
this
were
helmet.
wearing a helmet. Yeah.
We're being safe. You're wearing this helmet. Joe, meanwhile, spots a girl who needs help with her bindings for her skis, so he goes and helps her out. I didn't catch this girl's name.
Shannon.
Shannon. And he's like leaning down in front of her, helping her to her skis up, and her boyfriend comes over.
Yeah, and he's like, what are you doing? What are you touching my
Get away from
girlfriend's
my
feet
girl.
for?
Blah. So he kicks off, pushes Joe over, sorry. We kick off into a skiing montage.
Yeah, they have loads of fun.
Yeah, the montage you can see coming a mile off. Knowing what's going to happen in this movie, you know how this movie builds, and you know we're going up the mountain, we're going to have a montage, and then the movie's going to start.
Yeah.
That's what happens here. They have a skiing montage, they're doing some skiing. Parker's falling over a lot. Joe's really good. They then stop and grab some food at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
They've got a pizza, I think. Joe is again slagging off Parker to Dan, but she overhears this time, and he's really
Yeah,
good
she's
for
gone
it.
to get the coffees or
Yeah.
something. And
And she's like, "Look,
well, it starts off, he's not really slagging her off. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, can we go and do some real skiing? We've been on the bunny slopes all morning.
Yeah.
And she kind of comes over and she takes it very well. She's like, guys,
yeah, if you want to
I'm
go,
not as, like, I'm enjoying myself, don't get me wrong, but I am not bothered at all if I can sit here and have another coffee.
yeah." She's like, "I can
Go and
happily
do
go and read my book or
The
something."
Black Run or whatever you're doing.
I don't care. You two go off and have some fun if you want
But
to.
it's Dan
But Dan's like, "No,
being
We're
like,
staying
no,
together."
we will have forced fun as a threesome.
we will." The word threesome's mentioned a couple of times in
Yes.
this movie, and it's awkward. Joe scrambles to an apology. Everybody's talking again. It's fine. Joe then bumps into this girl he helped earlier,
Shannon.
Shannon.
She
away.
apologizes.
She
to him.
apologises to
She
him.
says that guy wasn't even my boyfriend.
"Yeah, he's my ex. We just happen to be in the same group of friends. We're here. He's just a dick.
And she says, "Look, I'm here most weekends."
Come here every Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you come here every Sunday?" And Joe's like, "Yeah, I'm always here." Blah, 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 blah.
And she's like, "Oh, maybe I'll see you next week,
Yeah.
and we can
Yeah, and
ski together."
Joe's like, "Let's not leave that to chance. What's your number?"
Yeah.
Nobody's got a pen. Nobody's got the phone. This is how we establish nobody's got a phone.
Yeah.
So he has to he memorizes.
They're in
their
the lockers.
Yeah.
It's mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah. Joe, it's then later at night. I think they say it's 10 p.m. And
It's getting towards closing time.
yes, it is. It
someone
is closing.
Yeah.
time.
Well, no. Someone says the ski run is open till 10,
Yes.
but it's not quite 10. But the
some
weather's coming in.
There's some weather coming in.
Yes, the
So
weather
we're gonna-
outside is
It's
weather.
So we're going to close the ski lift for the night. And it's the same guy they bribed earlier, and they're like, "Look, Joe and Dan and Parker are like, look, let us go up once more. We'd like it.
We've
we
only
like-
done
wanna do-
4 runs.
Yeah, we want to do a night ski. Let us go." And he,
So they've done 4. Can we do a bit of quick math?
yes,
So they've done 4 runs.
Yep.
3 of them.
Yep.
So that's
12 runs.
12 runs.
Yeah.
For $100.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
I think they've got a good.
Yeah, probably got a good deal.
How much is a ski pass? I don't know.
I've got no idea. I've never had any inclination to even attempt to go skiing. It's never crossed my mind to think, I'd like to strap some wood to my feet and go down some snow.
Less than $10 a run.
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
My brother's been. I'll ask him.
Okay.
This guy, the same guy they bribed earlier, is trying to close the
He's
ski
like, no,
lift. He's
I
like,
need to go home. I want to go
I've got a
home.
life. I need to go home.
The weather is getting bad.
Yeah, you're not going up there.
You've already kind of like got one over on me. Why would I let you up?
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, you can go up.
Yeah. And was this like... It just felt a bit badly written.
Yeah.
Of like, the guy just flip-flopped and I'm like, come on, dude. You just... I needed a bit more from this scene of them working a bit harder to get back up on the mountain.
Yeah. More money maybe or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Something. But anyway, he lets them on and he's like, look, go up there, come straight back down, then you're done.
Yeah.
We're out. So as they get up, they get out of sight on the ski lift. Another guy comes up who's a colleague of this ski lift operator. And he's like, the boss wants to see you in the office.
Yeah.
Some bullshit reason about working.
It's like, he wants you to work on next weekend or something.
This key point to this story, the ski resort only opens Friday, Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
And then it is completely abandoned
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Even though the already notoriously short window to do skiing,
Yes.
they cut that even further by not opening on weekdays.
Yes.
So this is not a business that is well run. I'm just pointing that out.
But it is, however, a key point to this movie
Yeah.
because this is a Sunday night.
Yes.
So after this, the ski resort will be closed until Friday
Yeah.
morning, I assume.
And they'll do all the maintenance and test all the equipment. They'll just do it on Friday.
Yep, absolutely. We're only working 3 days a week. This guy doesn't want to work next weekend. He goes off to see the boss. He's like,
I already booked it off.
yeah. He says to the other guy, there's 3 guys left on the mountain. When they're down, close it off. Let's go home.
Yeah.
So a new guy takes over. He stands at the bottom. He sees 3 people ski down the mountain.
Yeah.
So he's already being given bad advice
Yes.
because there is clearly 6 people on this mountain.
There are 3 on the mountain, 3 on the lift.
Key to the film, he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
He's been told there are 3 people who are on their way down. Potentially, these 3 could have been up there for hours.
Yes.
This guy maybe didn't know them. Anyways, by the by, he sees 3 people, comes down. What he does, he turns the ski lift off,
Yeah.
goes home. Our guys, meanwhile, are on the ski lift, travelling up happily, merrily, discussing the worst ways to die.
Yes.
Apparently, it's Jaws. That's what they decide. Parker thinks it's maybe burning, and then they all discuss 9/11
They do.
for absolutely no reason.
And then Joe says the worst way to die would be the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi, where you are slowly digested
For 1,000 years.
thousands of years.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yes. The ski lift stops during this conversation, and they're thinking it's the same thing that happened earlier on.
Sure.
It was fine. We'll just wait until all the lights on the mountain start going off as well.
One by one. This was quite a nice shot, actually.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
One by
From
one.
behind them.
We're at a pan
We're in front of them.
we
We
pan
can see
out
back down the
and we
mountain.
see each light as it ascends up
Yeah.
the mountain going off one by one.
With that very famous noise of lights going off. That's like,
Which is like a really
it's like
ominous doom. Yeah. Like
It's that noise, and it's in every movie where lights go off.
the
And
lights
it's
in
slowly
your house
creeping
make
up.
that noise.
No,
when you switch them
not
on.
usually.
Maybe that's an optional extra you can get.
Maybe you could set like a sound effect on your Alexa
Yeah.
to do it. So we see it before they do. We see the lights up the mountain turning off, and then suddenly they're plunged into darkness. And that's when they start to panic,
Sure.
as you would, because they're a long way up, 30, 40, 50 feet, maybe, a long way up. It's freezing cold, obviously. It's the middle of the night on a snow mountain.
And I think it's Parker pretty quickly says, "Oh my God, it's Sunday night.
Yeah.
They don't open again until Friday morning."
Till Friday. And I'm like, really? Really? Okay. They start screaming for help. They start shouting for help. Nobody hears them scream. Parker's properly freaking out. Dan thinks he can make a jump.
Also, Parker and Joe are like, both need to piss.
Yep, they do. That's easy for Joe, but not so easy for Parker. Dan thinks he can make the jump. But he's not going to do. There's no point yet. something might come and save them.
Because narrative, yeah.
Joe whips it out and starts pissing, obviously. And then suddenly it starts snowing.
Yes.
Heavily
And
snowing.
Snow/rain/sleet, that's what it's
To
called.
be fair to the film, it had told us this was coming.
Yeah,
we
it said
knew
weather
weather.
was
We
coming.
knew weather was coming.
It's not the greatest snow effects you've seen. So every time they want to show it snows, you get a sort of library footage / second unit shot of just some trees.
Yes.
And they've sort of imposed a bit of snow
There's
falling
heavy
in front of the dark trees.
Heavy snow going on them. After they've been up there for a little while, a snowplow starts driving up towards them
Yeah.
and parks directly beneath them,
Yeah, of course it does.
but doesn't see them. And the guy who's driving the snowplow, he was going up to collect the staff from the top, I think.
Something
or
like that.
something
He stops to take a call.
Yes. And he's like, I'm heading up to the top to collect the staff who work up there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, the staff are already down here. You can come back. It's
Yeah, they
fine.
got brought down by someone else.
So he turns around and drives away. He doesn't see them. They start throwing things far too late.
Far too late.
Far too late. As soon as that snowplow was underneath me, my snowboard's going through that windscreen.
But also, they did manage. I think it was one of the helmets that
Yeah.
landed on the bonnet of
Yeah.
the snowplow,
Yes.
and the guy saw it.
Yeah.
Went, and then just decided like he hadn't seen anything and
Nothing
carried on
happened.
anyway.
He must have hit it or something. They're throwing stuff. There's a couple of the skis go down.
But if
The
a
snowboard-
helmet dropped on your bonnet,
You'd look
you'd
up.
be like,
Where's
well,
that helmet come from?
even if you didn't look up, I think you'd get out and go, huh,
Yeah.
that's odd.
Hmm.
I wonder if I might think firstly, I wonder if someone's in front of me.
Yeah.
And then you'd get out and obviously you'd hear them shouting.
Yeah.
And anyway,
That doesn't
it's
happen.
a bit convenient. That's all I'm saying.
I would have made sure that my snowboard went through that guy's windscreen. I would have been like throwing all sorts of shit at him. Anyway, he doesn't see them. He drives off. They start panicking again. Dan says, look, one of us does need to do this jump or we're all going to die up here.
The
It's
thing
freezing
is,
cold."
because they're a long way off the ground,
Yes.
but I guess they're like, oh, it could be possible.
Yeah. It
It's
feels
snow.
doable. Yeah, it feels doable. You've got to take
Yeah.
the bump right. You've got to land properly. But it feels doable. It isn't, as we find out, but it feels doable. Dan, though, decides this is what we need to do. Joe's trying to keep everybody's spirits up. He keeps telling jokes.
He keeps doing like top threes. What's your top three breakfast cereal, TV show, all this sort of stuff.
Dan, at this point, jumps.
Oh, just before that, Parker drops a glove
She does. She accidentally drops her glove.
because she's trying to light a cigarette.
Yeah. Yeah, she smokes, which was weird.
It's always odd seeing.
Yeah, it's odd seeing people
People
smoke. Yeah. So Dan decides he's going to jump. Now, he doesn't lower himself to the lowest
I
point.
thought this. So, because I was thinking, several times through this, I was like, right, I can see why they're seriously considering jumping as an option.
Yes.
But you are not just going to push yourself off this bench.
No.
You are, at the very least, going to try and hang from the bottom of the...
Yeah, that's giving you 10 feet. With,
Yeah.
with extended arms,
you
you're
know,
about
you're
8 to 10
cutting
feet.
off 5'10" of
person plus arm
jump.
length.
Yeah.
7 or 8 feet, maybe.
And I even thought, like, could you try and hook a ski pole and dangle off that to give
Yeah,
you another
give you a
few
bit more. Yeah.
No, he just
He just
shuffles his
shuffled
way off the
himself
bench.
off. Jumps feet first
Yeah.
to the ground. Obviously, breaks both of his legs.
Yeah.
As he hits the ground, there's quite a gruesome scene of both of his legs imploding.
His ankles bend, his
shin bones end up through his trousers.
Yeah.
He's in a bad way.
and the guys are just like,
Oh shit!
"Are you okay?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "No."
He's clearly
can
not
see
okay.
the bones.
I can see the bones. I'm gonna bleed to death now. They start throwing their scarves at him.
Yeah.
But Parker's lands in a tree.
Yeah.
So they like he tourniquets his legs because he's bleeding a lot from his comically broken legs. Can I say that? The look of the film, the actual shot of him breaking his legs is quite gruesome.
Yeah.
Following that,
When he's,
he's
just
clearly
sat
sat in a hole with some fake legs next to him.
there. They are too comically bent,
Yes.
which I know can
It
look. I
would
don't.
happen.
Yeah, but they don't look like legs.
No, they don't.
They just look like some trousers
Yeah.
and some
With
shoes.
some
There
bones
doesn't look
sticking
like
through
there's anything in them.
And it doesn't look like he's attached to them either. It just,
Yeah, it kind
it
of looks like
felt
he's been
strange.
half Doctor Doomed in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
And it's the effects just
Um,
practical effects aren't quite there.
he's panicking. Obviously, he's screaming a lot. He's in agony. He's tourniqueted his legs. Parker's screaming. She's like, I need to get down there. Joe's like, I think I can climb up, get to the cable, shimmy down to the next chair. I think I can do that.
And there's a pot. It's obviously, so there's a couple of chairs behind her, and then there's
There's
the
one
pole.
chair between them and the stanchion of the lift, which Dan points out has a ladder on.
Yeah.
Because he can see it from the floor, or he just knows this fact. So it's a long way for Joe to go, but he does consider doing it. And then suddenly they hear a noise. And it's a wolf.
Yeah.
This is bad.
I wasn't expecting the wolf
Wolf.
aspects for this movie.
I also was not. It's quite very close to Dan's face.
Yes.
As he's lying on the floor. There's nothing. Dan can't move.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do about it. But he does manage to scare it off for the time being. He throws something and it scares off. Joe's like, I've got no choice now. I need to do this. Unfortunately, it's been snowing for the last couple of hours.
And it's getting colder.
And it's getting really cold. And the cart that they're in,
Bench,
lift, is iced up.
Yeah.
So it's really icy.
As is the pole.
As is the cable.
The cable above them.
So Joe tries to do it. He can't. He slips a couple of times. He can't afford to fall off as well.
Yeah.
So he gets back in the cart. Dan covers his face up because he's like, shit, I'm going to die out here.
And also, they're knocking ice and snow
onto him.
Yeah, from the cable and stuff. And it's like landing on him.
So he's covering his face. When he uncovers his face, the wolf is
like nose to
nose with him. He screams again. But then that makes it run off again. Dan now says, I can't feel my legs. Yeah. No shit, Sherlock.
And Joe turns to Parker and goes, look, I know it's cold, but I'm pretty sure that's bad.
Yeah.
He's in a bad way.
And
We've got to do something now.
And also, Parker, I think you're getting frostbite on your face.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a face that's starting to peel off. So Joe has another go at climbing. And this time he does get up. He gets up. He's hanging from the cable. And then suddenly he sees something. We don't see it, but he sees something.
He panics and he goes
back. His face changes. He goes back.
Why did he go back?
To cover Parker's eyes.
Oh, okay.
Because he knew what was about to happen. Yeah. So he went back. He grabs Parker's head, side of her head, he covers her ears and makes her shut her eyes.
He just got quite a bit along, and
he did. Yeah,
but I can buy that.
He covers her ears. He pulls her head into his chest so she can't see it, and then 5 or 6 wolves turn up and they start ripping Dan to pieces.
I have got to say, the guy doing like the Foley artist, went above and beyond it.
Yeah,
I just imagine the director in the mixing booth doing the sound after and went, it's not enough gurgling.
Yeah, it needs to be more blood gurgling.
Because the sound mix was awful. And it was just like, and I had my headphones on watching this.
Oh, did you?
And yeah, the sort of flesh tearing, but it was the gurgling.
Yeah.
It went on for ages.
It's a pretty hectic scene because you've got Dan screaming as he's getting eaten alive. There's wolves howling.
Yeah.
Parker's screaming in Joe's chest. Joe's screaming at Parker. It's a really hectic scene. But they rip him to pieces.
The gurgling is turned up very loud.
It is, yeah.
Above all that stuff that you've just mentioned.
They rip him completely to pieces. Parker screams into the camera and the camera fades to black.
Yeah. Dan's dead.
Dan is dead. We fade back in and they're both sitting there, not talking, just stoically looking.
Joe's hands are shredded.
Yeah, Joe's like
the cable's gone through his gloves.
The cables are cut. The cables are sharp. They're cutting his gloves. He's really struggling with this. And then Parker says the ultimate line in this movie. She's like, "Why did you let him jump?"
Yeah.
They start arguing.
They're both horrible to each other.
Don't you fucking blame me, was Joe's first line. Then they argue about who loved him more.
Yeah. He's like, you've only been with him a year.
Yeah.
He's been my friend forever.
You forced your way into this life. He didn't. He never brings girls skiing with me. This is.
He's like, if we went all afternoon on the bunny slopes, we wouldn't have gone back up for one last run.
And he says,
both been horrible.
He says, you know what? Fuck you. This is the last line of this argument. And she apologizes. She's like, okay, look, we need to figure out what we're going to do here. There's no point arguing.
Well, they both apologize to each other.
They do, yeah. Joe then says...
They cuddle, warm up
a bit. They need to warm up a little bit. Joe says when he gets home, he's going to propose to that girl he met earlier.
Yeah, straight in.
That's going to freak her the fuck out.
And then...
They're going to have kids and a dog called Steve, is what he says.
Yes. And that makes Parker think of her dog.
Yes.
Who is only a puppy And she gets really sad because she basically she thinks that her dog will feel disappointed because her dog will think that Parker has left her.
Yeah.
Because the dog obviously doesn't understand the concept of death.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, if the dog doesn't understand the fact that you've died, I'm not sure it will understand the fact that you have left it either.
No, that's a good point.
But anyway, that's what
She then
sets
starts
her
to
off.
freak out a little bit more because she thinks the dog will starve to death because there's nobody there to feed it.
But Joe's quite good here. He says, look, your neighbours,
Yeah.
if it'll be
your family,
barking, someone will kick the door down.
Yeah.
You know, people
are going to start to miss us.
Yeah, why aren't we at class?
Yeah.
And
why aren't
stuff
we at
like
class?
that tomorrow.
But nobody knows they're up this mountain. They haven't told anybody they're going. Then the film fades to black again, really soon after the last time. And when it fades up, it's morning. Morning is broken. And the place is complete. We get an abandoned ski lodge montage.
And a lot of snow has fell as well.
It has. Yeah, Dan, you can't see Dan anymore.
His fingertips
are
sticking out of the snow.
They're both asleep. They've fallen asleep on the cart. Parker, remember, she dropped her glove earlier in the movie. She has fallen asleep with her hand on the metal bar.
Yeah.
No.
This was this is probably the grimmest part.
This was the grimmest part of the film, but also you're not going to fall asleep and think I'm just going to hold this. It's fucking freezing, and then just freeze. A hand freezes to the bar.
Yeah,
you're going to go, oh, that's cold.
Yeah,
surely.
I would have thought so. Or your hands in your pocket, or you've rolled it into your sleeve.
You've done something with it. She falls asleep with her bare hand on bare metal, and when she wakes up, she doesn't wake Joe up straight away. She rips her hand off this bar.
Yeah, and it's really grim. It's like you see the skin peeling off as she slowly removes her.
She's not screaming. She's completely
gasping
silent.
A bit,
she's gasping a bit. And when she looks at her hand afterwards, it's basically degloved. There's scars, but it's frozen, so it's not going to bleed. It's literally frozen. Joe wakes up because the bar that it's clings back because it's the safety bar. So that wakes him up, but she decides to not tell him about this.
He definitely clocks it.
Yeah, but she doesn't mention it. She puts it in her pocket. She deliberately.
He looks at the bar, which has
got skin hanging off,
hand skin on it.
Yeah. She doesn't mention it. He doesn't mention it to her, but he does say your frostbite is getting worse. A lot of your face is now hanging off, and she's like, "Yeah, you're getting it as well. You're getting like red spots on your face."
Joe says to her, "I think I'm going to try for the pole again.
Yeah,
try and get that.
They have another go at screaming for help.
He's
just to see if there's anybody about.
Let's wait for a bit for it to warm up.
Yeah,
some of the ice to melt.
Yeah, Parker convinces him to wait. He wants to go now, but she's like, "No, let's wait till the sun comes out. We'll see if anybody comes. We're okay. We're in no danger at the moment, but let's see if anybody comes. Then, if not, we'll do it." Then they fall asleep again.
Yeah, to drop back off.
Drop back off.
And this next bit is probably the bleakest.
Bit. Yeah,
this is the low point.
Yeah, Parker looks over to check that Joe's asleep, and then just wets herself.
Yeah,
because she needed a wee last night.
Yeah,
and it starts dripping down into the snow, and that makes her cry. She cries again,
and she also wipes the scabby frostbite off her cheek.
Yes, she does. She peels that off. When Joe wakes up, she asks him why he's never had a girlfriend. And so, like, come on, work with me. I don't need to talk about this. And he says, "Look, you did have one. We had a lot of things in common. Both of our favourite movies.
They were both nerds.
Yeah, we both like E.T. We both like Star Wars. But unfortunately, she cheated on him with another guy. So,
like the jock.
There's a whole story about him being humiliated in the school canteen, and the guy was called Dean. She cheated on me with Dean, and everybody in the school laughed at him when it happened. So he's never really thought about going back for another try. But he says, "I regret that now. I should have tried harder with."
Maybe I gave up too easily.
Maybe I should have not been so insecure.
And she says, "Oh, you should tell her that when we get back.
You should call her and tell her."
And he says,
"No, she's still with Dean." This is like not long ago. Parker says she was going to marry Dan. Dan was the one. They were definitely going to get married. And then Joe tells her about Dan's first day at school and how they met and how Dan was the fat kid who hadn't got any friends, so Joe kind of took him under his wing. And then he says that he didn't die just for us to give up. We need to get out of here. So he's like, I'm going to start climbing again.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a go.
So I'm not 100% sure what happens here, but he stands on the carriage. He gets onto the cable.
Yeah.
And then kind of kicks his feet off it, which dislodges the carriage.
Yeah, so the hook of the the ski lift bench onto the cable at the top loosens. So it's now dangling.
It flicks to the side, so Parker's on one side. It's
Yeah.
kind of off-centered now.
Yeah.
As Joe is climbing over, he hasn't changed his gloves, so he's using his bare hands.
I thought of this. Why didn't he
Wrap something around him.
Well, that or he could have used the other side of the glove. So put them on backwards.
Yeah.
At least a bit more protection.
My thought was, now I don't know if this would work. Would a ski or snowboard hold your weight? Could you use it like a zip line? Could you have put the snowboard over it and zip line down to the next carriage? Would it be strong enough to hold your weight over?
Feels like a gamble.
Yeah, it does.
My thought was, because there were a lot of trees around.
There were.
Would it have been better to try and jump
into a tree? Maybe. They were quite a long way away though.
Yeah, they were. And I think one of my criticisms of this movie was maybe there was some lost opportunities in the way it was shot.
Yeah.
Because I just felt it was a bit lacking in the danger factor, in that, like, I don't think it was shot well enough to show how high up they were or how... Because there was a couple of times where I thought, oh, maybe you could jump to that tree.
Yeah.
And that, I'm not saying it'd hold you, but it might cushion the fall a bit and not smash your legs into smithereens. And I think, obviously, maybe a bit limited on what they could do and the shooting setups, but I didn't think it was the best shot movie in terms of
I'd agree with that.
showing us the danger that they were in, the height they were at.
Yeah. I think that's a fair comment. Would your first instinct have been to have gone up rather than to have jumped down?
I think that is a real... No, because I think that is a real tough ask to sort of scoot yourself down that thick razor cable.
Yeah.
I think I would have been considering jumping, but it would be
lower yourself as much as you can.
Even somehow try and wedge the pole on.
Yeah.
Or you've got two of them.
Yeah.
They hold at one end of the ski pole.
Yeah. Literally lower you down as far as you can.
You need to cut as much height off as you can.
What you absolutely don't do is just jump out.
Just push yourself off the bench.
Yeah.
Or, like I say, do you take a calculated risk and aim for a tree?
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
This is tough. What Joe is trying is tough, but they've
literally got no other choice at this point. So what Joe does is he is starting to shimmy down to the next carriage. Unfortunately, a wolf is looking up at him, as the wolves have come back, in the daytime.
At exactly the point.
Now, if this ski lodge is open,
as well.
This is dangerous.
Yes, very. So how do the wolves know it's Monday and no one's going to be back till Friday?
Presumably because there's nobody there. But it feels like wolves are not... When you're skiing, you would like to think the wolves are not that close to you, sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway, there's a wolf standing underneath him watching him. But he does manage to get to the next carriage.
Yeah.
He does manage to shimmy down. He gets into the next carriage. And he says to Parker, look, there's wolves down there. If I do get down here, I'm going to need a weapon.
Yeah.
One of my ski poles is left up there. Can you throw it?
Just lob one nearer to the middle.
Down the mountain. So it's nearer to me. So when I get down, I can grab it, beat off a wolf. No. Stab a wolf. Whatever I need to do with a wolf. And so she gets a ski pole and just feebly tosses it a little bit. It goes nowhere near him.
Used the manky hand, didn't she?
It's a female throwing. It's ridiculous. But anyway, she doesn't throw far enough. And he then he's like, well, okay, I'm going to keep going. So he's on, they were 2 carts away from the stanchion. They're now he's now 1 cart away from the stanchion. So he's got the same distance to do again to get to the stanchion. Which he starts to do now. His gloves are completely torn up now. So are his hands.
Yeah, it still doesn't swap them.
No. The wolves are still circling underneath him. But he does make it. He makes it to the stanchion. He makes it to the ladder. And he climbs straight down the ladder and gets on the floor.
He nearly falls off the ladder, because remember, he's still wearing binding shoes.
Yeah, he's not wearing proper shoes.
Yeah.
I'd have maybe tried to get the wolves away before I went onto the floor.
Possibly.
Do anything.
Just jumped at them.
At this point, the danger is over. The only danger you've got left now is the wolves. The height is no longer a danger. You're on the ladder.
And he's got legs.
And he's got legs. you need to do something to get rid of those wolves before you hit the floor.
I would suggest just something, yeah.
I don't know what, but you need to do something. What you don't do is go straight on the floor and fight a wolf, which is what he did. A wolf attacks him.
He eventually manages to get to the
manage to
ski
crawl
pole
to that ski pole.
and kind of
and he
stabs
does-
one with it.
Yeah, he stabs one with it, starts screaming. The other wolves all retreat. We're good. We're good
Yeah.
to go. He's been bitten up a little bit, but he's fine. He manages to get his skis on because he
No, he
finds
doesn't.
them. Does he not?
No, he gets a snowboard out and he doesn't
Oh,
snowboard.
okay. Okay, that's fine. I thought I'd seen him strap something to his feet.
But I don't know enough about this. It's like, if you can ski, wouldn't you give snowboarding a go? Because what he does
Which one's
is,
harder?
he-
Skiing's got to be harder.
but he sits on the board, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And pushes himself down. He doesn't actually.
Why did he do that? That's a great point.
He doesn't
He doesn't
lock
snow-
himself in and try. If you're a skier, you give snowboarding a go, don't you?
Maybe the
Rather than-
bindings are different.
Maybe. Why didn't he get his skis? Because they weren't totally buried.
They were right back up the mountain where
two-
Parker was, though, weren't they?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I just felt his chosen method of descent was questionable. So he
He
sort of
sits on a snowboard and sledges down.
and pushes himself down.
As he leaves the scene over the brow of the hill, all the
whole
wolves
pack
run
of
after
wolves follow him.
him. Parker is now alone. She is sitting on this broken chairlift now.
Yep.
And the night
It's
starts to
listing.
fall. Night starts to fall again. She doesn't know if Joe is alive or dead.
Yeah.
She doesn't know if she's going to get rescued now or not. She doesn't know what to do. She's panicking again. She decides to lower herself. Do what we've just been saying. Lower yourself down as far as you can. Unfortunately, that triggers the rest of the cart to fall. And it does fall. It literally falls off its station.
This is the next morning. by
Yes,
the
it
way.
is. Sorry, yeah, she's survived
She's
another
night.
night.
Yeah.
Luckily for her, the cart falls, but another, I guess, safety cable stops it falling.
Yeah.
Quite near to the floor.
So it's hanging.
It's hanging,
above the-
and she's hanging from it.
Yeah.
So she can literally lower herself to the floor. So she drops, but she's nowhere near as far as Dan was. She's good. She's okay. She's on the floor. There's no wolves about. We're good.
But then again,
Until,
I thought this was badly edited because the way it came across is that she lowers herself down to the floor,
yeah.
then looks up for quite a few seconds and watches as the chair falls onto her.
Yeah.
Instead of just rolling out of the way.
The chair fall. It wasn't also clear what had happened because the chair falls onto her leg.
Yeah, until like her shin.
Yeah, but I don't think it caused any damage.
It was a terrible shot. It didn't
was.
look like it was enough to break
It
her
didn't
leg.
break her leg. It definitely didn't break her leg. I think it just hurt. Maybe she was lucky it didn't bloody kill her. She should have got out of the way.
Yeah, because she hits the floor and
A
then
long time before the
she
car
looks
falls
up and we because it's a movie,
Yeah.
true movie style. Each remaining cable of the bigger
Yeah, it's
cable
like
twangs,
off.
and there's like 3 of them go.
Yeah.
And she just sits there and watches it.
She does. Anyway, she seems fine. She does.
She's hurt her leg.
She's hurt her leg, but not.
She can still move.
Yeah, she's not Dan hurt her leg.
No, you're more worried that she's exhausted because she's been up on this
Yeah.
ski lift for 2 days.
So
and 2
she
nights.
decides to crawl down the mountain. She has no skis.
She crawls
no
slash
snowboard.
butt slides down the
Crawl / shimmy dash. Walking isn't an option, basically. So she crawls for a little bit, she slides for a little bit, she rolls for a little bit, and then she comes across the eaten body of Joe,
Yeah.
who has been eaten alive by wolves
Yeah.
also. I feel like she'd have heard screaming.
Yeah, because it wasn't that far away. I don't
No, it
think.
wasn't, and it wasn't... Yeah, I feel like when there's no other sound around, sound travels a long way.
Yeah.
I feel like she'd have heard that. But she hadn't heard it, but Joe has also not survived this night.
Yeah.
She is now alone.
2-0 to the Wolves.
The wolves, though, are still there at Joe's body.
Yeah, they're still around their prey.
But they appear to be full now. They've
Yeah.
eaten 2 humans.
They kind of stare her down a bit,
Yeah,
and then
they just ignore her. They
go
let
back
her
to
go.
the carcass.
Yeah, they go back to eating Joe and let her go. They're content. They don't want to eat 3 humans. That's greedy. So she keeps moving. She gets to a road. She manages to slide all the way down the mountain to a road.
Yeah.
Where she sees a car.
Yeah.
But it does not see her.
No,
So she keeps going. She gets onto the road. She collapses onto the road.
passes out.
Passes out. Where another car stops. A man jumps out of the car. He's like, "Oh my God, are you okay? What's going on?" Puts her in the car. And he said, she's then in the back of the car, moodily looking out of the window.
He's on the phone.
He's on the phone. This is the guy who used to play Jason. He's like, "Look, he's on the phone or a radio or something, and he's like, "I'm taking you to hospital. It's 10 minutes away. You're going to be fine.
They'll fix you up.
They'll fix you up." And that is the end of your movie. Thoughts, Nick?
I don't know why, but it's not what I expected.
Okay, what were you expecting?
I don't know.
Right.
I was kind of surprised at how grim it was.
It was pretty grim. It wasn't very fun.
But then I knew it was a movie about 3 people getting stranded and stuck on a chairlift up a mountain in the snow. So I don't really see what else it could have been. But yeah, it was. That's my reaction. It was grimmer than I was expecting.
Yeah, it was pretty grim. There's not many fun moments in this.
No, but I tell you what though, it did take me along for the ride.
Yeah,
there was sort of 25 minutes left. I just thought to myself, I genuinely don't know where this is going.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know what these two are going to do.
I don't know how these two are going to survive this.
Yeah.
And then when one of them doesn't survive it, I'm like, okay, that's a brave move, because there's always more than one survivor in movies like this.
Yeah, I was surprised when Joe was at
Normally, my prediction was, when Joe got down, my prediction was Parker gets down, and then the rescue crew comes up with Joe, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
That isn't what happened in this, and I was quite surprised by this ending. I don't know if the ending is great, or if it's even good, but it wasn't the ending I was expecting, which is a good thing, I guess.
I think I might extrapolate that thought to the whole movie though, because I enjoyed watching this movie and I was invested, but I don't know if it was a good movie. I'm not quite sure.
It's a scale, isn't it? Because we don't watch good movies.
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfectly fine movie for what it is. It's a triple header. There's only 3 people pretty much in it. Mm-hmm. And there's loads of these movies about people in danger. Like that one that came out on Netflix last year with the 2 girls at the top of the pole. The Fall.
Yeah.
It's that sort of... There's a genre. This is a genre of movie, isn't it? A small amount of people in danger.
Can I give you a fact which was not given to me by Amazon X-Ray? Because as we mentioned on the bottom of the stream with Adam and Nick on Monday, watching this on Amazon Prime gave me all the cast list and facts for the Disney movie Frozen. But also a fact I did pick up through my later reading after I watched this movie, that this movie Frozen had a cinematic release 7 days before Buried starring Ryan Reynolds, which is kind of a similar...
Okay, that's a similar vibe, yeah.
Vibe, I would have said.
Yeah.
You know.
I went to the cinema to see Buried with a few people.
I might have gone with you. I'm pretty sure I went to the cinema.
I really liked it, and pretty much everybody else hated it, I think, but I really like it. I think, overall, I like this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say if it's a good movie or a bad movie, but I liked watching this movie. I had a good time watching this movie.
I was definitely invested.
I was invested in what was going to happen. I'm pretty sure I knew what was going to happen at the end, and I was wrong.
The wolf thing surprised me.
The wolf, yeah.
I didn't think there'd be as much nature in this movie. It was like the additional threat.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess it needed a secondary threat.
I thought the guy was just going to die because he's broken his leg and die of that.
But no, he got eaten by wolves, man.
Yeah. And then
my one criticism was it didn't seem that difficult what Joe did. And you maybe could have done that from the beginning.
I think this goes back to my point of I don't think they did a good enough job shooting the danger.
Yes.
Because it did seem too easy.
It did seem...
There was a line of him going, I can't even do a push-up. Yeah. How am I going to do this? But then he just went and then he just action-manned it anyway.
Yeah. And it was a long way. Yeah. It was a long way between those ski carts. And he went 2 lengths.
And there was never even, I've slipped off.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And I just think... Yeah, there wasn't a good enough... obviously, we know they were in danger. It was a terrible situation. But I just don't think the director maximised that.
Shooting the peril.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a great assessment. I think you're right.
But I think the leads were pretty good.
Yeah, for all 3 of them were great.
No, they didn't blow in. My socks remained firmly on.
I completely believed their characters.
But they were fine.
Sean Ashmore probably stole it a little bit.
A bit of the small talk was, again, the script wasn't great.
No.
It didn't feel very natural. A lot of the small talk.
It's not an easy movie to do. It must have been a horrible movie to shoot. 'Cause
Yeah.
they genuinely are on a ski lift. It must have been freezing.
Yeah.
There must have been logistics of shooting it. But overall, I don't think this is a bad film.
Okay.
I think I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it's a decent pick as a wild card. I think it's beatable as a wild card.
So on that, I 100% can see what I would if I'd have come across this. I would have gone.
That's my wild card.
That's in consideration for my wild card.
Yep.
Because it's high concept. It's got a couple of people you kind of recognise it.
Yep.
And it's old enough to think like, yeah, there's something in there.
Yeah.
There's something in there, and I quite want to watch that. And I did. Like I say, overall, I was invested.
Yes.
I got something out of this.
Yeah. We've seen much worse movies this season already. Much worse.
Yeah.
What's the best thing about this film, Nick?
What is the best thing about this? That, I think it's just the concept.
Yeah, it's a nice concept, isn't it?
It's the concept.
I think I'm going to ask you what you would change about it, but I think you've covered
I think
it.
we've covered it.
Shooting the peril. You've
Yeah.
got to be better at making it look more dangerous than it did.
Yeah.
Stream table.
Sure.
We've currently got 6 films in the stream table. This is the 7th film of season 11. Would you like me to read through the top 6 currently?
Okay.
Currently, number 6 is Freak Show, and number 5 is Shark Lake, and number 4 is Nessie and Me. Number 3 is Ape Canyon. Number 2 is Office Invasion, and number 1 currently is Origins Unknown. We've got a bit of an animal theme going on this year.
We have a little.
got sharks, Loch Ness monsters, apes, and now wolves.
Yeah.
Where does this one go?
I'll tell you right now.
Okay, you tell me. You pointed at me and everything. That was scary.
This is easily the best movie we've done that's been on Amazon Prime.
Correct.
Which
would put it
means
third.
it can go no lower
Than
than
third.
third. That is the worst case scenario for this.
Yes.
Personally,
It's not even close.
no, and there's a big gap
Yes.
after it. Personally, I'm not sure that it's a better movie than Office Invasion. I got more out of this than Office Invasion.
I think this is a better movie than Office Invasion.
So I was more invested in this movie than Office Invasion.
Same.
So that puts it second.
Yes.
I do think I have a tough time putting it higher than that.
Don't think I'd even hear an argument for it.
Yeah.
This isn't a better movie than Unknown Origins.
No.
It isn't.
No. That was fun. It was thought-provoking. And it did the gore better than this movie did.
Shot the peril. Shooting the peril is my new catchphrase. I like it. Shoot the peril better, people.
So I think
This is the second best movie of this season.
that's a really fair ranking.
I agree. That's where I had it before we even started talking about it. And I think it's the only place it goes in that stream table.
Okay.
One better than Office Invasion, not as good as Unknown Origins.
Yeah.
But the top wild card of the season so
It
far.
is indeed.
It's the only wild card of the season so far. Which brings us on to one last thing to do. We need to get Robin out because we
do.
need to pick next week's movie. What are you hoping to get out of next week, Nick? We're at 5 and 2 for Amazon and Netflix. I think we do a Netflix, but we've also done 250 Netflix before this season. So we're actually at 252 to 5. So
I think I want to see some really good acting.
oh, okay.
I want to see some good performances.
When's the last time that
I
happened?
don't know, rarely.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to spin the wheel. You
Sure.
ready? Robin has picked us a movie called Cosmic Candy. Any ideas?
I couldn't even begin to guess what that might be about.
You won't be surprised to learn that it is on Amazon Prime. And it is Greek.
Oh, okay.
Been to Greece before?
We have.
We have.
We watched Green Sea.
Oh, not that long ago.
Was it last season?
Yeah.
About the amnesiac chef.
Chef.
I quite liked it.
I did as well. It was okay. Cosmic Candy was released in 2019, as I've just said. It's Greek. According to IMDb, it is a comedy, drama, fantasy romance.
Covering all the bases.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want the synopsis?
Yes, please.
When her young girl's father suddenly disappears, her weirdo neighbour, an eccentric supermarket cashier, is forced to take care of her.
Okay.
That isn't what you were expecting, was it?
No, it wasn't. It really isn't.
So yeah, it's on Amazon Prime in the UK. It also streams on Plex if you've not got Amazon Prime. And yeah, so we'll go and watch that, shall we?
We will indeed.
The first review on IMDb says it is perfect.
Oh,
So we'll see if we agree with that.
it's ominous yet promising at the same time.
It is. In the meantime, go out and watch that. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Letterboxd, and TikTok.
What?
I've made us a TikTok account.
Oh, good.
Why not? We're doing videos now. We can have TikToks.
Mhm.
All the username for all three is the same. It's at BOTS_podcast, bottom of the stream _podcast. Check us out. We've only got one follower on TikTok at the minute, so get us some more, please, because we need to get these views up. When you've done that, if you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com, and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On our website, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded, all of our stream tables, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
Snood.
Keep
you warm.
I think
in
you
the
can
snow.
actually get a snood on the website. When you've done all of that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottom of the stream. On there, for £5 of your English pounds every month, you'll get early access to episodes, you'll get bonus episodes, you'll get all sorts of cool stuff. You'll get exclusive access into our Discord area, and you will get a wild card, which means you can do what Alex has just done. Play a wild card, pick a film. If it's the best film of the season, you will win a prize. And then, when you've done that, head to Discord. The Discord is a wonderful group full of wonderful people. We will chat to you about anything. We'll do watch-alongs. We play games. We've got all sorts of cool shit going on Discord. The Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes.
If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a rating and review anywhere you can rate and review podcasts. We're on all those places. They are places like Podbean, Podchaser, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, and do whatever you can do with us on TikTok. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Nor do I.
Do stuff.
Just follow us.
Yeah,
and
fine.
like stuff. I think
Yeah.
that's what you do.
Perfect.
Don't forget, Bottom of the Stream with Adam and Nick streams every Monday morning on YouTube. It's available. Just search up Bottom of the Stream on YouTube. You will find it. It is there every week. It is also available as a podcast, so find it on your podcast apps. Every Thursday, we do the movie show where we do what we've just done, talk to you about a movie. It's our bread and butter. It's what we've always done. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on whatever podcast app you're on now. Go out and watch Cosmic Candy.
Indeed.
And we'll be back on Monday for Bottom of the Stream with Adam and Nick, and next Thursday for the Bottom of the Stream movie show.
Cheers.
Goodbye.